is because these people that you are probably listening to are liars and they don't know. Think about all these dorks on the internet right now giving out relationship advice, like these academics who call themselves doctor and don't look like or come off like they've talked to a woman in the past year. Or how about like creepy PUA types who look very out of place with the women that they are paying to get their pictures taken with or paying for field reports? Or how about, guys who seem to be grifting an image of like cool lifestyle supercar stuff and manly stuff and, groups of men and look how, cool me and my group of men are, who are they seem like they're trying just a little bit too hard, right? And then they're all going to tell you what it's like to be a man or what need to do now to get a woman. Or let's just look at the entrepreneur space, like how these guys are going to tell you how to get rich, but then their main advice is something really vague, like do the work or something like that, right? With like no substance behind it. Or here's my course on how I promote courses to other people on how to get rich, right? Or maybe some crypto guys are going to tell you to pick the right coin. And those guys have, of course, a history of losing people's money, right? I mean, the list goes on for these types of grifters. It's as if, especially the entrepreneur guys or the crypto guys, it's like as if all 100 people who signed up are going to make the same courses to tell everybody else how to get rich too, like as if that's going to work, right? Like all these are real fucking people, by the way. Like I'm not making this up as just like this is hypothetical. These are real fucking people that are out there trying to coach other people and who are highly popular on YouTube. I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they're all parroting each other and saying the same crap. And in the relationship space, in self-development space, it's all the same crap that they're just ripping off on each other. And as far as the relationship gurus go, when you see these dorks, do you ever think to yourself, like, there is no way this person has experienced genuine desire from a woman? Like, there is no way that they have done well in dating or relationships, and they tend to not do well, right? And they don't have receipts, or the receipts are made up and fake. And like their personal success, I don't even care about that. That doesn't even matter as much. But what about the actual integrity of the advice and what they're producing from that advice? Like, are they producing clients who have the types of relationships that they want? Are they producing results in the people that are buying their stuff? And the answer for the majority of them is no. You can rip off a testimonial right after somebody does something and convince somebody to say the right things. But over time, they're not getting it. They're not getting the results. And yet, here they are. And they're going to tell you what to do on YouTube. And you're going to believe them. And they have 800,000 subscribers or something like that because you're listening to them. All right. And if they just say the right things and look the part for YouTube and mainstream media and stuff to get behind them, then the algorithms will promote them. But did you ever think that the stuff that gets widely promoted by the most popular relationship advice gurus is actually designed and set up for you to fail? Just think about it for a minute, okay? Most people, and you guys are probably the exception if you're listening to me, but most people, we could say 70-80% maybe, are not really, and I'd say it's probably could be higher than that, right? But most people are not out there trying to fix themselves or change anything. Most people, when they seek out information on the internet, and particularly in the advice space, they're actually looking to confirm their existing beliefs and to confirm their existing identity. So basically to make themselves feel better, right? If they're seeking advice rather than entertainment, they're trying to make themselves feel better about the results they're already getting. So a popular YouTube advice guy, maybe a psychologist or dating coach or masculinity guy or whatever he calls himself, right? Like that guy who's got 800,000 subscribers or 500,000 subscribers, right? Or whatever, a couple 100,000. That guy probably isn't giving you the stuff that works. Or at the very least, there's a lot that's missing because the stuff that works isn't going to appeal to the 80% of people who are not really wanting to fix things, but instead wanting to make themselves feel better. Does that make sense? Like the stuff that makes you feel good about yourself isn't going to lead you to fixing anything. Not really. And I'm not saying you shouldn't feel good about yourself. You should, but for different reasons. You should feel good about yourself because you're getting the results in life that you want, not because somebody on YouTube told you you're a good boy. You see what I mean? The stuff that's going to challenge you, the stuff that's going to sound hard to hear sometimes, the stuff that's going to want to cause you to take action, that's the stuff that's going to lead you to getting good results. Most of these guys, 90% of these YouTube content creators and coaches, they're going to tell you how to be a man and tell you how to get the women and all that stuff. They're not doing any of that. They're not doing any of that. They're just making you feel better by discussing ideas that give you a sense of empowerment because you think you know more shit now. Meanwhile, you're not getting any results. And most of those guys behind the camera, they're not getting any results either. So it's a bunch of people with no results in the areas that they're coaching in, telling other guys how to not get the same results that they're getting. All right. It's a little bit crazy when you think about it. And in the money space, it's even worse because it's a bunch of guys who are making money usually and getting rich off of other people who are hoping to get rich but never get there because they're not really getting the correct advice. There's things that are missing. All right. There's things that are missing. So if 90% of people are failing in relationships and you are part of that 90%, what is going to sound good to you sometimes could be outright the wrong information. Because if you are not doing well, then what sounds good to you is probably going to be information that's going to lead you to not do well. Does that make sense? Okay. Or at the very least, there's going to be missing pieces, and those missing pieces are what you need to do better. And it's just not there. Because think about it. Like I said, if the mainstream information was correct and complete, then more people would be out there finding love. We'd have more millionaires coming out of all these courses. We would have more success in dating, in long-term relationships, and in the dating space. But that just isn't the case, is it? Not on a large scale. Certain coaches, like the 10% that are good, they're producing results in their clients. I'm one of them, and there are some other people out there that do pretty well. But for the vast majority and for the whole population itself, who's all getting advice from these people who are essentially lying to them, that's just not the case for them. They're not getting any better. In fact, they're getting worse. The reason they're getting worse is because these fucking people that you are probably listening to are liars and they don't know shit. That's the truth. That's the truth that nobody wants to say. And I'm not popular, so fuck it. I can say whatever I want. All right. I don't expect to get this video promoted, whether I lie to you or tell the truth. So I might as well tell the truth. These people don't know shit. That's the reality of it. Now, here on my channel, we have higher level conversations. So what I won't do is I'm not going to attack individual people personally. All right. And there's friends of mine that have bad ideas, in my opinion. And I will correct their ideas, but I'm not going to criticize a person or attack the person. Okay. Small minds talk about people, whereas smart minds talk about ideas. And that's what we're going to do here. So even if I do mention someone by name, it's not going to be an ad hominem attack in any of my videos. There might be the occasion where I have a hater somewhere. That could happen, and I got to address that person personally or something on a video. That has never happened before. I hope it never does. But other than that exception, we'll always be discussing ideas and not people. And many of these ideas that you're hearing are stupid. And you guys need to stop promoting them. All right. And you guys, the audience needs to stop giving them their energy. So now that we got that out of the way, let me ask you a question. All right. How many of you have been listening to red pill content on YouTube? Now, how about manosphere stuff, right? Or how about the popular mainstream dating stuff? I'll mention them by name and it's not a criticism of them, but like your Todd V or your Corey Waynes or those types of people, right? And how many of you have been listening to YouTube content creators or books or reading stuff from like the psychology world, maybe like Esther Perel or Psych Hacks or somebody like that, or some of the internet psychologists who give out relationship advices. How many of you have been listening to that stuff? All right, for a while now. How about the pickup guys or the pickup artists? There's those guys giving advice. All right. Now, how many days, months, or years have you been listening to all that advice out there? Has it been a while? Some of you, it's been years, right? How many hours do you think you've logged in just listening to this stuff? Let me know in the comments, by the way, the answers to all these questions. Now, I'm not talking about my content, obviously, but I'm talking about all this other stuff that's out there. Okay. Now, how many of you who've been doing this stuff for years, how many of you are actually getting what you want with women right now? Like you're living the dating life that you've dreamed of. No cap. How many of you are actually getting it? And I bet you most of you are probably falling short. How many of you are falling short of where you should be or where you would like to be? How many of you are in that relationship that you would want, where everything is 100 times better than when you started consuming all this shit? Like, if you're spending hours and hours consuming all this shit over the years, I would expect you to be 100 times better than where you started at. Infinitely better from YouTube content. It should be if the content makes sense, right? And if you're taking action, but it's not, is it? It's not. Okay, so here's the reality, and I'll talk about the numbers, okay? Most of you guys are fucking failing, all right? You aren't getting what you want. You're consuming all this content, but you're not going anywhere. That is what I described to most of you. Some of you actually got somewhere, and good for you, but that's a very small percentage in comparison. All right. Now, why is this happening? It's happening for two reasons. One is that you're the problem. Okay. You need to take action in your life, and you're not taking action. You're just passively consuming stuff. That's a you problem. You got to own some of that. Okay. But that's not even the big part. That's part of it. But there's another major part here, which is that you can't even begin to fix yourself because these so-called experts are lying to you. Now, this won't apply to you if you've been on my channel and you've gotten into my school community, or if you are, been here for a while listening to me, or if you've done sessions with me or in any of my coaching groups. This will not apply to you. This evaluation is kind of for everybody else, but it's still good for you to hear it. Okay. You're failing or not doing as well as you should be. And a lot of that is because 90% of these people giving advice are just ripping each other off and not offering anything that would actually help you get what you want. Now, for a little bit of history, most of you guys that are listening to me right now flooded the marketplace a few years ago and were promised the world by these grifters. And you paid money, some of you, for courses and invested hours of time on YouTube. And yet you have gotten nowhere. And in a lot of cases, it's even worse than that because you're worse than when you started. And that's because many of you who actually got off your asses and tried to change your situation got ripped off by bad ideas. And now it's 2025. And you all think you know about women. You think you know about dating because you can regurgitate stuff that people on the internet say. But none of you are stopping to ask yourselves, right? Is my life getting any better? Am I getting results? Or am I getting the results I should get? Now, the ones that ask themselves over the years, am I getting any better? And realize that they aren't getting any better. A lot of those guys booked sessions with me, got into my mastermind group, took a course, And then more recently, because now it's available, got into my community for free and at least started there. All right. But most people aren't even asking the question. All right. Because most aren't actually going anywhere. Now, sure, guys feel like they have a better understanding and they feel like they have learned something. And y'all feel like you know more than you did before. And that might be somewhat true. You might know more a little bit about stuff, right? But knowing something and being able to regurgitate something that some guy on, YouTube says, well, that doesn't actually mean shit now, does it? Where are your great dating experiences? Where are your relationships? Where are the women? Where's your positive mental health? Where is your emotional self-control? Where's your feeling of confidence and bliss and well-being? Where's all, if you got in the entrepreneur stuff or the crypto space, where's all that money you should have from the grifters that promised that you'd be a millionaire? It's all nowhere to be found for most of you guys. What little results you got, you would have gotten it without those grifters. Now, guys, if you aren't getting 100% of what you want, and I do mean 100%, then that means you are missing something. And most of these guys aren't equipped to give you what you are missing because they've never been able to get what they want for themselves or produce clients who can consistently get what they want, which is actually the real test. I'm not so concerned about people's personal lives. It is a factor, but I'm not concerned, and nor should you. You should be concerned, though, about the results they're getting for you, though, right? Now, many of you listening to me right now have the illusion of knowledge because that knowledge is giving you the illusion of skill. All right. You know things, but you haven't developed the skills and you haven't fixed what's broken on the inside. So all your red pill or dating knowledge isn't translating to peak relationships and dates in your life. All right. And again, this is not all your fault. It's not your fault you were lied to, but it's up to you to fix it and make better decisions on who you listen to and what you do and what action you take. Because the fact that you have been lied to is an injustice that we need to correct, but the responsibility to remove that injustice from your life and to go on to bigger and better things, that responsibility is on you. So next time some psychologist or expert or coach comes on the internet with an idea that sounds good to you, ask yourself, does this guy look like or come across like he can get good results with women in his life? Is he living it? Or is he like just some nerd who doesn't even look like he could fight, let alone be a man, let alone solve a problem, let alone talk to women? Real question, isn't it? Something you should be asking yourself a little bit more often. Or is the guy you're listening to going the other way? Is he acting like a cartoon character, overcompensating and pretending like he gets all the women in the world, and he's got massive amounts of photos at club promotions and parties with girls that he pays for, and he's trying way too hard to feature himself with girls and watches and boats and cars and trying to prove something to you? Is is it that guy that you're listening to, or is it an internet psychologist, or maybe some female dating coach or therapist who can't produce clients who are having good relationships in their lives? Look, if you're getting poor results or getting less results than what you want, you need to question the bullshit that you're listening to because it obviously isn't helping. Now, I created a community and I offer it to you for free for this reason, because I'm tired of the bullshit that gets peddled to you guys on social media platforms. And I want to have real discussions with men who will actually take action to improve their lives. And I'm sick of watching you guys suffer. All right. I've helped thousands of guys get to success in money in women and with their mental health. Yet, mainstream bullshit advice pollutes millions of people every day. I can't catch up. I struggle to reach you guys and to help you guys and to get in front of you guys. Yet, the mainstream stuff that poisons your mind has no problem getting out there to millions of people. It's very, very frustrating, but we're going to do this together, right? All right. So instead of having your brain polluted, let's do something a little different. Now, you can go to my community for free. That link is in the description. Now, last thing I want to mention is skill. Okay. Knowledge does not equal skill. A guy who reads all about guns, for example, and who really studies guns, he's going to have valuable information, but he's not going to be a skilled shooter unless he learns the skills of shooting and then he practices them, right? He takes action. Knowledge about skills isn't the same as taking action and learning the skills. Do you see the difference? No, that's why I give away knowledge for free. Here it is on YouTube for you for free. Okay. No questions asked. To me, knowledge is just the first step. I mean, the knowledge I give you is right here. Okay. Now, the knowledge I give you is the correct information. So that's important versus the wrong information or the incomplete information on 90% of these other channels of guys who are living in a simulation and not living in real life. But it's still just knowledge. The next step is actually skill development and taking action. Now, most of you have consumed hours of YouTube content. So, really, most of you have spent hours of your time on only taking one step, which is to learn about the stuff and learning about women and relationships. And if you got your information from 90% of the other stuff on YouTube and in mainstream books, you actually hindered your ability. Do you realize that? You actually worked against yourself and hindered your ability to do well because you got the wrong knowledge. You have beliefs now that are corrupted and polluted that are going to cause you to fail if you don't undo them. You have to challenge those beliefs with skill development and with action. Now, by the time this video gets to you, enrollment for a course I have, Sexpionage 2.0, will already be open. You can sign up for that course. That course will teach you the skills I'm talking about. All right. These skills will get you results. Here's a quick 1-minute spiel on it. Most of these guys were rather ordinary men with average paying cover jobs, yet they were able to pinpoint the women that they wanted and pinpoint their target and get her to fall madly in love with them. As it turns out, these same skills that these men used on missions are the same ones that you need in order to target and seduce the woman of your dreams. How to spark real conversations, how to build unshakable confidence and inner game, and how to connect with women authentically. Easy to access instructions that will enable you to seduce and get the girl you want immediately. I'm opening Sexpionage 2.0 for enrollment very soon, like within a few days. So don't waste time. Click the link and join my community for free so you won't miss when I open enrollment. This will be the only chance that you'll have this year. Enrollment for Sexpionage will be closing soon. Okay. Once it's closed, it's not going to be offered for the rest of the year. So you better get on it now. And if you missed it, or if you're a candidate for it, just DM me in the community if you missed it. Okay. DM me and you can, we could talk about getting you into my mastermind if you're a good candidate for it. So you can learn these skills. That's the point. All right. Instead of just sitting on the sidelines, all right, and learning about the skills, it's time to take action and learn the right skills to take that action. All right, gentlemen, I hope I made myself clear. Stop listening to these people. They're lying to you. Okay. They're simulating real life on the internet and not actually doing real life. These guys are not getting the clients that come to them the help that they need or the real life skills that they need or the real life results. So wasting your energy on that is only hurting yourself. Now, I hope to see you at Sexpionage or at least in the community. And if you haven't figured it out yet, because I'm not a mainstream advice grifter, the algorithms censor my content. So please subscribe and like my stuff so we can do our best to get actual help to more people out there who need it.